For this episode of The Fine Line Between Stupid and Clever, we're going to talk about 3D printing some simple car parts.
So here's the inspiration for my next project. Is here in my electric car, I have installed an Android tablet in the middle of my dash to display all of my battery profiles and things. However, as you can see, I have it installed with this dashboard plate that's just cut out of steel with an angle grinder and kind of made to look like it belonged to the car, but actually just kind of looks pretty homemade. It does blend in well with the other highlights I have that are kind of metallic. But I thought I wanted to make something a little bit more professional, so I decided to buy myself a 3D printer, and I'm going to try to print out a specified dashboard panel to install this Android panel. Not only will it cover the entire Android tablet in the area, so just the screen is showing, but it'll also recess the tablet a little bit deeper in the panel and hopefully without these screws and stuff. Okay, so here's my new setup. Here you can see I took the dashboard part of this. Is called the Tombstone for you Mazda Miata lovers out there. Here's the previous setup I had. I had my Android tablet kind of placed into and braced in this space with these foam rubber pads on top of a steel base that's screwed into the back of the Tombstone frame. And then I had this roughly cut piece of metal over that and screwed into it to just hide the tablet and expose the face. Well, we're gonna take my digital calipers here, we're gonna make some very fine measurements, and then I'm going to enter this stuff into my iPad Pro, which has this free program called Tinkercad on here, which is super easy to use. It's web-based. You can download the app on an iPad and everything's saved with a Google password. And this will allow me to make 3D designs that can then be shoved into a 3D printer. I did some research and I ordered a 3D printer just the other day. It's gonna take a week to get here. By doing some research on some Tinkercad files and playing with it, I've had so much fun. I learned how to use it in just a couple hours, and I've got probably 6 or 7 files already created that I'm waiting to print with the 3D printer, so I'm excited about that. Anyway, I'll get to work on this and give you an update in a little bit. So after about an hour of tinkering around in Tinkercad, I now have my 3D model of my dashboard assembly. The red plate is going to be the back plate that has the tray that's cut perfectly for the size of the Android tablet with the appropriate cutouts for the camera on the side and also for the buttons on the top. This is the electric car emblem I made for my car that I'm going to print out in a metallic kind of stuff, or I'll paint it metallically. Isn't that cool? Logo that I had with a yin-yang design. I love that. This is a standalone statue of my band logo, which I had a lot of fun making.
So my Ender 3 3D printer came in the mail today. I'm not a fan of unboxing videos, so I'm not going to bore you with that. And actually, that's how I did research on this printer. Is I watched about 10 YouTube videos on this printer, but this is the one. So if you're interested, you can go check those out. And I'm going to get this constructed and try the first print.
Okay, so about an hour and a half and a couple of cups of coffee. I have this cool looking device on my desk. I kind of feel like it's back in 1984 when I bought my first personal computer, a Texas Instruments TRS-80. I knew that it was something cool. I didn't know how the hell to use it, but I was excited about trying to learn. So I've got some, now that it's built, I used the IKEA kind of instructions to construct the thing, but now I've got to do some specific leveling of the bed and do the test print and try and get the little file from the SD card reader, and we'll do that and then we'll try our first print.
So while my test doggy printout's taking 3 hours to print out, I'm going to prepare my files for my car parts from the Tinkercad design and create files that the printer can read called G-code files. So what I'm going to do is you export your files from Tinkercad into a .stl file, and then you upload those into a free program called
Ultimaker Cura, which is a slicer program, and all that does is take your 3D program, 3D design, and put it into determined slices that the printer can read and build. So I'm going to take my STL file, my dash plate from Tinkercad, and drag and drop it right into Cura, and there it is. So that is my dash backboard. And then the nice thing about Ultimaker Cura for my Ender 3 printer is that it already has an Ender 3 printer profile set up in here, so the settings are kind of defaulted for the printer, which makes it easy. You click the slice button and it creates a file. It tells you it's going to take 8 hours and 30 minutes to print this sucker, and then you save the file to a SD card that then you plug into the printer, and then hopefully that'll work. So once the doggy's done, we're going to give it a shot.
So watching a 3D printer can be remarkably hypnotic and somewhat therapeutic. I think I'd rather do this than watch reality TV, to be honest. I don't know what that says about me, but this is pretty freaking cool. So here are my 3D printed parts. The faceplate, which I've eliminated the posts on the back to slide into it. We're just going to let friction take its place. And also because that one of them broke off whenever I tried to get it off the printer bed. And then the base fits like a glove, actually, but I had to thin out, of course, with the Dremel just a couple of spaces because I didn't quite take account for the rounded nature of the edges of the tablet, but it fits in there quite nice. And I've got my holes drilled to mount it into the back of the Tombstone, and we'll see if we can't make this work. So here are the parts installed in the car, and I'm quite pleased. Blends in quite nicely. The silver PLA filament that I used kind of blends in with the metallic stuff that I've got on the dash. And the nice thing about this too is that there's no screws on it, and it's hard to tell, but in comparison to the previous setup, is the whole tablet is recessed just about a 1/4 inch into the dash. Now, the other cool part about it is if I want to get the ThinkPad out, I just can pop this out very easily, and then, oh, where to go? It fits so snugly in there, actually, that in order to get it out, I'll go to sleep here, is I had to put a little spot in the corner where I could take my key and pry the tablet out with one finger. Well, that's it for a quick introduction into 3D printing, and a fair warning is once you get started with it, it's hard to stop. You start finding all kinds of uses for things that you can crank out. Some of them are helpful and some of them are absolutely ridiculous and a waste of time. But since I made this video, I've printed out parts for my car, I've printed out parts for an electric bike project that's also in my videos that you'll see, and then I've just printed out some fun stuff too, like my band logo here. If you like the video, leave a comment. If you hated it and it makes you feel better to fill your black heart by spewing hatred, then send some horrible, mean emails as well. And I'll be there for you. Take care.